My neighbor sued me for stealing her daughter's personality. Yesterday, the judge ruled, I owe her $47,000 for being a better role model than she is. It started when Coley, the 13-year-old next door, knocked on my apartment asking if she could watch me work. I am a freelance graphic designer who works from home, and she'd seen my Instagram showcasing my projects. Her mom, Diane, seemed thrilled that Chloe was showing interest in something other than her phone. Finally, some ambition, she'd said, practically pushing Cooley through my door. For 3 months, Cooley would come over after school. She'd do homework at my kitchen table while I worked, occasionally asking questions about design software or color theory. I taught her basic molding, helped her create a vision board, and even let her assist with some simple client projects. The transformation was remarkable. Cooley went from a shy, anxious kid to someone confident in her creativity. She started dressing differently, mixing vintage pieces with modern accessories, developing her own style. She began reading design blogs, watching Inairs, even started a small therapy shop selling digital art prints. That's when Diane's attitude shifted. She's becoming too much like you, Diane complained one evening, arms crossed in my doorway. Yesterday, she told me she wants to redecorate her room, minimalist, and asked for a ring light for her birthday instead of the designer purse I picked out. I thought she was joking until the cease and desist letter arrived. Diane was demanding I stop influencing and manipulating her daughter. The letter claimed I was systematically replacing maternal influence with my own agenda and causing severe emotional and developmental damages. I ignored it. Cooley was thriving and I wasn't doing anything wrong by being a positive influence. She kept coming over now, working on her college portfolio despite being only in 8th grade. 2 weeks later, I was served with a lawsuit. Diane was suing me for intentional infliction of emotional distress and interference with parental rights. She wanted $47,000 in damages, claiming that's how much she'd spent preparing Cully for a future in law, including prep courses, debate camps, and a college fund specifically for pre-law programs. Diane had compiled a list of personality changes as evidence. Cully now preferred tea over lax frappuccinos like me, wore glasses instead of contacts like me, listened to indie music instead of top 40 like me, and wanted to pursue creative careers instead of law, like me. She'd even hired a private investigator who'd taken photos of us at a design exhibition at a local coffee shop discussing Cully's projects and walking my dog together. Nell's Samantir activities were painted as grooming for personality replacement. The most ridiculous piece of evidence, Diane had recorded Cully saying, I wish you were my mom during an argument about college choices. This, according to her lawyer, proved I had successfully alienated a child from her natural parent. In court, Diane's testimony was unhinged. She sobbed about losing her mini-me and how I'd stolen her daughter's future-in-law. She brought Cooley's old photos, showing a miserable kid in preppy clothes at debate tournaments, contrasting them with recent photos of Cooley smiling at art shows. She was going to be a Supreme Court justice, Diane wailed. Now she wants to make logos. My lawyer tried reasoning with logic. Mentorship isn't a crime. Pumace isn't property that can be stolen. Children are allowed to develop their own interests. But then Diane's lawyer played their trump card. A recording of me telling Cooley, your mom doesn't understand creativity because she's never created anything but problems. I'd said it after Diane had torn up Cooley's acceptance letter to a summer art program, calling it a waste of time. The judge somehow sided with Diane. He ruled that while I hadn't broken any laws, I had overstepped boundaries and caused quantifiable damages to Diane's parental investment. He ordered me to pay $47,000 in compensation and seize all contact with Chloe, who wasn't allowed to testify because of her age, ran out of the courtroom in tears that night. She started a GoFundMe. I yelled me and so my mom's lawsuit against my mentor. She shared her story, her art, and the court documents. It went viral overnight. Number Let Chloe Create started trending. Dissent communities rallied in 72 hours. She'd raised $120,000. Diane tried to claim the money, saying it was rightfully hers as Chloe's parent, but Cooley had smartly set it up to go directly into an educational trust that couldn't be touched.